Hello, Inkenstein here with the first of, I'm going to do a whole week of the Enigma Inkvent 2024 calendar. I have set C. I assume that means there are other sets. As you can see, there are 25 days. I'm going to do a week at a time and then come back next week and I'll put up a week more. So before we get started, I just want to show you that this comes in a kind of nib-shaped container. I guess I could throw it like this. A nib-shaped container. Each has a little vial that is dated or numbered 1 through 25, one for every day of December. You get to pick the color of your nib holder and your base. It looks like this is a 3D printed base, and it slides in here and will stand up. I'm going to put this over the side, and then they also send a scratch off for every day so you can reveal what it is. So let's go ahead and go. I've never done one of these before, so this is going to be very interesting to see how this actually plays out. So we're going to start with day one. Okay, Vinta Palaisipan from 2023. You can tell it's a shimmer ink because the shimmer has all settled. So we're going to very quickly get set up here and do a quick swatch. This. Stir that up even a little more. It's obviously a blue. Very light blue, ice blue, similar to, I know Robert Oster has a similar sheening, shimmering blue. This is day one. Again, it is from Vinta, which makes some great shimmering ink. Palaisipan. There you go. We'll get on to number 2 on my quarter here. Day 2. KWZ Beefeater Red. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Obviously, I'm pretty sure I can just pop these numbers off the top of here when I'm done with this, and I can store these in my regular sample storage. Obviously, a red I don't think is a sheening. I shake up all my ink before I swatch it for some reason. It's just a habit. I'm just quite sure what the properties of some of these inks are. So it's easier for me just to go ahead and assume that I need to shake it up. So let's see. No, it's not a shimmering ink, but let's see what it has. Oh, that's a nice shade. Almost like oxblood, the famous diamine ink. Very red, brownish red. And that's KWZ Beefeater Red. Okay, I suppose Inkvent day 2. Enigma Inkvent day 1. Okay. Next for number 3. Trusty coins like I'm playing the lottery or something. Sailor. Shikiori. Nioisumire. Okay. Let's give this a try. Number 3. This looks like a deep purplish. It's sealed up here, so hopefully I can get this out of here. I like that. It's like a blue purple. Very highly saturated. But not too difficult to work with. It's not too over. Just some shading properties to it, which are very nice to see in such a highly saturated ink. Again, Sailor, Shikiori, and the ink name is Nioisumire. This is Enigma Inkvent Day 3. Okay. Up here. Okay, now move on to number 4. Paper Plume. I don't have any Paper Plume at all anywhere, so I'm glad. So far we haven't come up with anything so far that I already have. This is also not a shimmering ink. I'll shake it up anyhow. Nice red. Ooh, red orange it seems like. Oh, look at that color. Not deeply saturated, which is a nice change of pace. A brownish red. I keep putting extra ink on it. I don't think I need to. Papier Plume. Bloody Pumpkin it's called. Great name. Enigma Inkvent Day 4. Okay. I'm going to keep doing these videos once a week and posting them at the end of the time period. I'm very much against, with these calendars, people posting spoilers. It almost is within minutes of the Diamine or the Colorverse being posted, we would see people posting the entire month's worth. That takes all the fun out of it. Spoils everything. So day number 5, it's already told it's a Troublemaker ink. This is called Blue Guitar. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Definitely a blue ink, that's for sure. These little shards of scratch off sitting around. Thank you to the people at Enigma for not only making this calendar, but putting a little bit of tape closure on these so they didn't leak. Well, that's a nice medium blue. Possibly even some shading properties, but a nice, deeply saturated color. Don't see a lot of sheen in any of these, which is fine by me. It definitely not a requirement by any means. Troublemaker Blue Guitar. Enigma Inkvent Day 5. Okay, 2 more to go. 6. Laban Poseidon. That's a brand I've never even heard of before. I love discovering new things. So let's take a look at it. Poseidon, I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of greenish blue. Oh, I got the green part right. I may have guessed this completely. Let's see. Okay, give it a little shake. Some of that. So far I've managed to not spill any ink, which is great. Yep. It's kind of like an aqua green. It's a really interesting shade. Very light saturation. I don't know how well it's going to do in a pen. May come out a little light in a pen. It seems to have some shading qualities to it. I'm seeing a lot of color variation. Not seeing a lot of color variation in any of these inks. Maybe a little bit in this Bloody Pumpkin. I'm seeing a little bit of variance, but not a lot. Tiny little bit in this Vinta, which this whole Vinta thing surprises me because I see, actually we'll take a look at all these a little bit as they dry. So Laban Poseidon, POS, Poseidon, Enigma Inkvent, Day 6. And the last one for this video will be number 7. Another ink brand I've never heard of, Pennonia Borahae is the name of the ink for number 7. I like the whole Inkvent idea because it does allow you to be introduced to so many things that you would not normally be exposed to, brands or what have you, but also just colors. I find sometimes that the colors I would never pick up if I saw them in a store, but once I see them swatched on a card, develop an admiration for them. Purple. This is an interesting purple. I don't think it's terribly original. I've seen this a number of times. The Birmingham Andy Warhol or pop art purple is a very similar color. Again, I am all about having many different kinds of inks. I don't really like it when makers just basically make an ink color that is available. It's their version of something. Okay. Enigma Inkvent, Day 7. Okay, so there you have the first week of inks. Let's go through and take a closer look at these now that they have dried. This is the Vinta ink, the Palaisipan, which is very interesting. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there is some color variation in here, which is nice. It's like a little, almost like a neon-y green coming up out of this ink. It'd be very interesting to see how this performs in a pen because you can see with the one coat is very kind of light and the color variation is almost faint to the point you wouldn't recognize it. But here when I put the extra on, you can definitely see in here the, pull this up even a little closer, you can see that variant in color and you can see that kind of greenish yellow popping through there. It's very subtle, which I love subtle. So I definitely think that's something we should be very glad to play around with later. This is the KWZ Beefeater Red. Nice bold red. You can see right here, but it is the darkest that it is. Very solid color. There's some shading in it too, which is nice. So that's something I think I will enjoy trying out at some point. Every month I have one pen. This is Lamy Safari. Every month I put when I re-ink it or whenever it needs ink, I put in a different shade of red in it. Currently it has Noodler's Empire Red in it, but it just, because I'm always needing a red pen for a line in it, it's on paper, I just keep one always inked. And perhaps next month I can try this Beefeater Red. The Sailor Nioisumire. I don't know why I am having such trouble pronouncing things today. A nice kind of purpley blue. There is some color variation in here. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. It is almost like a subtle purple. I don't know if you can see that in there, but you see it swirling around in there, much more subtle in here, but it is present. Probably makes for some very nice shading with when you're writing with this, and that's a very subtle color variation, but very nice. Papier Plume Bloody Pumpkin, which I think is an interesting take on pumpkin. They I don't have any of their inks. I've read a lot about them, but I've never gotten any before. But it's a nice, obviously reddish orange with some brown hue in it as well. Lots of shading. Very interesting to play around with. Troublemaker blue guitar, straight ahead blue. I'm not terribly that impressed with it. There's really no color variation. There's some shading to it, but not anything I would be too terribly. It's just not a very original color at all. So yeah, we'll use it at some point, but it just doesn't really, not looking forward to it. The Laban Poseidon, there is some little bit of color variation here. I see some yellowy green coming in through here. So that's nice. It was shade very nice, as you can tell. There's a little bit of blue in here too, you can see popping through right where the thickest part of the edge is. So that's very nice. So there is some color variation going on here. Again, very subtle, very nice choice. It'll be interesting to see how that goes on a page. And then this Borahae purple seems a straight purple. I'm not sure if this is just because it isn't fully dry or if that's actually some color variation in there, but it's a nice mid-range purple. But again, you've seen this purple many times before. I'm not quite sure if it really strikes me as all that original. So there you go. There's week 1. If you come back next week, I will have open the next 7. Take a look through and see what we have here as we work our way through the Advent inks in December. Bye.